Welcome back. We're going to be talking about some of the people who made a big difference in 2009. We've seen a lot of turnover on Wall Street this year, a lot of new faces, old faces going down. I'm here with my colleague, John Carney.
Hey,
who
Joe.
would you say are some of the big names? Let's start with some of the big falls from grace we saw
Right.
this year.
Well, I think Ken Lewis has to be at the top of the list of the fall from grace. He was smiling so wide a year ago. He had finally accomplished one of his primary goals, which was to acquire a major Wall Street firm.
He won Banker of the Year last year.
He was Banker of the Year. He was widely considered, it was the victory of the guys from Charlotte over Wall Street, right? Bank of America had acquired Merrill Lynch. This was, a major thing. But both what we learned about that acquisition afterwards and the constant pressure he had put on him from journalists, but also from politicians, basically hounded him out of office. And he went up to the mountains, grew a beard, came back, and a couple days later, he surprised his own board by saying, that's it, I'm out.
Right. And then sort of dovetailing in his story is also the end of John Thain.
Right, John Thain was going to run the combined business of the brokerage business and investment banking business of Merrill Lynch and Bank of America. I mean, he'd gone in a way from being a chief executive to being under that, but he was going to run a bigger operation. He seemed happy to do it, and he, less than a month later, hounded out of office, gone, in part because Merrill's losses were so much greater than anybody knew. Bank of America thought it was acquiring a relatively healthy bank in the middle of a run on banks. What it learned was that had actually acquired an insolvent institution that had, epic-sized losses and was paying its employees billions in bonuses.
So the big winner of the year, I guess, the consensus is that this was Jamie Dimon's year.
Jamie Dimon,
Is it deserved? I mean, did he really do anything that is so special?
He did. He didn't do it this year, though.
Right.
What made him the Banker of the Year this year was actually something he did a few years ago, which was he started to get worried about some of the kind of CDOs and mortgage-backed securities that a lot of his colleagues had been buying in big time. And this is ironic because JP Morgan had played a leading role in putting together and marketing a lot of these products for a long time. He pulled them back, and that's one of the reasons they did not suffer the kinds of losses we saw at Citigroup, at Bank of America, and their large rivals, Wells Fargo.
Right.
They were much less exposed to the U.S. mortgage market than anybody else. So I think he does deserve Banker of the Year.
So real quickly, give me a couple names to watch out for in 2010.
I would say Bob McCann taking over UBS. That's going to be a big deal. It's setting up for the brokerage war of 2010 between the UBS Payne Weber guys, the Merrill Lynch guys, and then of course we have the wealth management team of Morgan Stanley, which just brought on Greg Fleming, and that's going to be another giant fight. So Greg Fleming's another name I'd put on that list. They're old rivals with each other from Merrill Lynch, so it's very interesting that we have these Merrill guys all over. James Gorman taking over Morgan Stanley from John Mack. John Mack will still be a big name next year. I think people are going to be surprised. He's still going to be chairman. Right. And he's still going to be around. We're still going to be hearing from John Mack. He's not going to vanish.
Yeah.
I also bet we're going to get a book out of Ken Lewis, because that's a book everybody will want to read, right? We've heard so much about it. I think Ken's going to come up and say,
that should be good.
Yeah, here's what happened. So that'll be a big deal. I think we'll also hear a lot about John Paulson. He was the hedge fund manager who made so much money shorting subprime. He's made a lot of money again this year. So the question is, no matter what happens to him next year, it'll be a big story, right? If he does well, it's how can this guy never lose? John Paulson wins again. He's the new Warren Buffett. But if he doesn't win, it'll be the great fall from grace story.
Right.
Everybody will be there thinking, maybe
it was just a 1-year fluke.
Right,
really,
1 or 2 years of
good years. He got a couple
years.
things right. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, so those are the stories I'm looking forward to.
Great. Well, thanks for chatting with me, and thanks for viewing. It's been a great year, and we're looking forward to watching these people next year.
We'll be back.